Hello and welcome to the 295th Rony's Tuesday Fun Race in Live for Speed. Tonight it's round 9 of the second season of the RTFR Championship in 2022 at South City Long reversed with the XFG. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching Sim Broadcasts, and joining me as ever in the commentary box for this series, it's Eoin Harmon. Eoin, how are you doing?
Hi Pete and welcome along viewers. I'm doing very well, thank you for asking.
Good stuff. Let's get straight on with the story tonight. We are one round after this away from the end of the championship, and that concludes the RTFR action for this year. In fact, as we take a look at the calendar tonight, we're at SO4R with the XFG. Next time out, it's another mod car, the Lilia X GTR, at a very popular Aston National, and this is going to hark back to the old AMG GTR days of old. If anyone remembers those servers, they used to blast GTR cars around AS3 non-stop. And, well, it's going to be a little bit of a blast to the past with that, but with a mod that is based on the GTR cars of new. So, Eoin, tonight's action, we're looking forward to this one a lot. It's a classic. We haven't run SO4R since 2020, we believe, during the Team Rock Racing Championship, way back when. 4 kilometres, 2.5 miles with 15 corners. And tonight we're going to be driving this for 16 laps with the XFG. We often do this in the normal direction, but obviously tonight we're doing it in the reverse direction, but with a very, very much classic car. The 1.3 litre inline 4 front engine, front wheel drive, 1 tonne, 115 brake horsepower XFG GTI. An absolute classic, Eoin, and it looks like we've got 34 qualifiers so far, so a healthy grid of these things.
Yeah, when you think of the XFG, you think of all those moments when you started playing Live for Speed. It's certainly the case for me. It is the beginner's car, but it remains a staple of LFS. You don't go very far without seeing it, and that's why over 30 competitors setting times is very encouraging to see.
It is indeed. As the longer nights draw in, we have bigger grids again, which is great to see. And speaking of big numbers, we have Gabor at the top of the standings with 189 points, 5 points ahead of his teammate Rick Cardle, and Nico, after not such a great round last time out, dropping a little bit further down to his teammates there in P3, but still very, very strong from the Sidus team. There is no Teams Championship this year, but in the Drivers' Championship, you can see where that would have been going. Sidus with 3 cars in the top 3. Then it's Fragmaster's Fatal, best of the rest with 114 points. The Mooley in P5, Yoni Catella in P6, Rony himself in P7, Magic and Lorenzo also for Race Green there in P8 and 9, and Ona in P10. And remember that the drivers who get the best results in the Drivers' Championship standings in RTFR get a prize, which has been kindly sponsored yet again by the World Class Lions team. We can't forget to shout them out. And we'll let these results slide on by. There are 4 pages tonight, I believe, and we'll see them now. Ayub there from Morocco. He probably is a happy boy this evening, Eoin.
Oh, you must be delighted. It's an amazing moment to see your team make it to the greatest stage they've ever been in the World Cup. Quarterfinals, never felt before.
Morocco beating Spain in the World Cup, for anyone who didn't know. Spoilers if you haven't watched it, but there we go. Morocco, good job there. And Ayub clearly going to be pleased with that result tonight. Third page, who's at the top of this one? We've got Texas in 41st there. A few other names, Martin Capel, Yero Loco, etc. joining us this year. A good number of entrants once again, 69 totally, scoring at least 1 point in the second season of the year. And that'll do for the standings. It's a shootout between the 2 protagonists of the Sidus team. It's between Gabor and Rick Cardle, really. Let's head to the track and see what's going on with the drivers. Topping the timesheets at the moment is the one and only Yoni Catella.
Yeah, he's actually got a comfortable enough gap, relatively speaking, about 1.5 tenths. You got the Sidus cars charging in, and then in 4th place it's Rick 98. So lots of drivers are in that 2 minute 5 range, so I wouldn't rest on the laurels just yet, but I'd say this is a prime opportunity for pole position for our world-class Lion.
Absolutely. And Rick Cardle and Gabor are both up there as well, but in the wrong order if you look at the Teams Championship. So Rick Cardle currently with a better time, only just, 0.02 of a second over his teammate Gabor. And yeah, well, that is really, really close margins between the Sidus teammates, but 0.2, well, 1.6 back to Rick Cardle from Ioni, who we're currently watching in his classic VW Polo Red Bull Racing rally car, World Rally Championship car. Of course, Ioni drives for the World Class Lions team, which makes it even more confusing. Anyway, who else have we got out on the track at the moment? Well, it's a good showing so far from Rick98. He's currently in P4, top of the Road Appraiser entries here, of which there are 2. Luke in P6.
Yeah, it's a very good run there for Road Appraiser. Having 2 drivers fighting it out among the usual contenders for victory. Arska also making it a double for World Class Lions. And then Gustin W, that's a new name to me. That's 9th place there. That's really impressive.
Yeah, here's Gabor. He's going to go onto a lap, so maybe we can watch it and see how a lap of SO4R shapes up, because we haven't done this combo since 2020, towards the end of the Team Rock Racing Championship, so almost, well, in fact, it will be more than 2 years. Gabor has just finished a lap there and goes on to a new one. It's often possible to do more than one hot lap on the bounce in the XFG because the tyres take a little bit of time to reach optimum temperature. So you can set your best lap after 2 or 3 laps in a hot lap session. So let's see, 2:05.65 is his best. And let's see if he can improve on what will be, I believe, his final timed attempt. He might go one more. But I think this will be his final timed attempt. Yes, it will. As we head down the back straight towards the Sector 1 line. This is a really difficult corner in the other direction, but even more so, I think, in this direction, because it's uphill, tricky right-hander. The rear stepping out. You want to get as close to the Armco as possible. Not touching these apexes, but getting as close as you dare. You don't want to touch any of the Armco. It's just going to slow you down. Tricky left-hander that. And then the car struggling slightly up the hill, of course. But then it's pretty simple. Just follow the inside until you reach the next set of downhill lefts and rights towards the bus stop chicane. And yeah, this will be a slightly unusual one. We haven't done this direction on South City for quite some time. Again, there, the rear of this car stepping out. It's a great feeling when you hook all of these cars up through here. A little bit laboured into the initial part of the chicanes here, but he gets it sorted and takes quite a tight entry into the final 3 corners of the lap. Nice apex there, bit of a correction on exit, but fine, no touching of the walls. This is difficult. Again, he gets the rear stepped out nicely, but it's a bit wide. He just about gets away with it. And then one more corner to go. Again, really difficult. A little bit wide of the apex, good enough, and runs it out to the wall. Crucially, doesn't hit the wall. That tyre wall there really loves to take all the speed out of the XFG, and you don't want any speed taken away. It doesn't have too much power, and then it's just a simple run up the hill. No drama there for Gabor. And then across the line he will come to set a lap time. Will it be better? It will not. No improvement, and that is that for him. P3 only for Gabor in this session. Rick Cardle will be our final car, and what better car to watch around the final lap of this session than the driver who currently tops the Drivers' Championship, Owen?
Yeah, the impetus
Sorry,
is on
he doesn't
here.
at all, does he? Gabor's topping.
Yeah, it's on Rick. Yeah, Rick needs to get the stronger result tonight over teammate Gabor. So whatever plans Ioin Catilla has in mind for pole position, Rick will want to do everything in his power to make sure he stays ahead of his teammate and just gain a little bit more ground in the championship, or else the likelihood is we'll be talking about a title for Gabor.
Yeah, but thinking ahead to race wins, Ioin Catilla is basically a man you do not want to bet against at South City in an XFG. If he gets pole, pretty sure he's going to run away with it unless there's any drama into turn 1. Bit of a touch of the barrier for Rick Cardle, but I don't know. I think Ioni is definitely an XFG SO4 and SO4R specialist. I honestly, that's a bit wide again from Rick. This has not been a clean end to the lap really for Rick. Let's see what he manages as he runs up to the flag. But it does look like this is going to go the way of Ioin Catilla. don't think Rick will be improving on this lap. Be amazed if he does. But yeah, Yoni is absolutely unreal in the XFG around the streets of South City. So no pressure for the young man, but he's going to put a show on for us this evening, I think, for sure. It was an improvement after all. I'm quite surprised. It looked a little bit scrappy towards the end, but he improves to be 1/10 off. So opening the gap by 800ths to his teammate Gabor, but yeah, not enough to get the pole. I'm impressed with that. The first part of that must have been amazing. Anyway, that is the qualifying session concluded, so we can get a hold of our results and run you down the order for this 34 car fight, which will be led by Yoni Katilla, World Class Lion Sidus Monkey there, ahead of Rick Cardle, Gabor, Rick98, Unite, Luke, Pablo Oscar, Austin W, and Falcon for Race Green. Dino is in P11 with Yari Katilla in P12, Gojki in 13th, Magic, Texas, Twin Cam, Michael, Timu Soini, Elias, and 3 Jump are your top 20.
Following on, we have 21st, the Hipmuli, 2 minutes 7 there, about 1.5 seconds off Paul. Jamin, Lorenzo, Rony, T-Bug, Oil Burner, Master, Weed, Lallaroo, and Moss McCarry are in the top 30. Lurcy, Hero Der, 472, that's Johnny SVK, and Justin on the back row.
If you're a set of difficult names to read out there, Owen. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be back for the 16 laps of SO4R with the XFG. At the 295th ever Rony's Tuesday Fun Race in Live for Speed, we will see you in just a moment's time. Hello and welcome back to round number 9 of the second season in 2022 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. The 295th ever RTFR will take place at South City Long Reversed with the XF GTI, and in qualifying, Eoin, Ioni Katilla topped the timesheets with a 2:05.47 rapid, and the SO XFG Specialist continuing that trend. And it's going to be a great fight. We'll just have to hope that one of the Sidus guys can get in amongst the mix and stop him from running away with this one.
Well, that's how the turntable, I suppose, or the tables have turned, expecting the Sidus guy to save us from one-stop domination. So I'll imagine Ioni will be feeling confident and knowing that the two teammates are in it for themselves more so. The championship is very much on the line with the second round about to begin. We're heading towards the grid now. So favourite is definitely Ioni, but we'll see what happens from behind.
We will indeed. Eoin, take us away for the start, please, because we have 2 rounds to go of the championship this year. It's been a great one, and I think tonight is going to be special.
It's a long haul in this dusk drenched South City. Here come the lights, and they're away, getting the pedal to the metal here, and solid start for the top 2. The others are going to probably stay side by side for a bit longer. But here comes Rick. He's going to hang it on the inside, heading down to the long right-hander it is now in this reverse. Switches to the outside. It opens up the door for Gabor and Unite as well up into P4.
Absolutely, and as they come around the first hairpin, it's pretty close at the front. Ioni will have to go defensive. He's not had a break. And look at that, as they're all going side by side up the back straight. Ioni is under some pressure here. He has still got the inside, which is the most important line into the next complex of corners, but he's not getting away just yet from these Sidus boys. They are going to hustle him for all it's worth. They cannot let him get away. They know how quick he is. He's already dominated qualifying, and there's contact. Rick shoved out wide, and that might be a break because the two Sidus boys side by side up to the hairpin, not the way they want to be as we enter the latter stages of the lap.
Yeah, Gabor got squeezed, and Unite might be able to take advantage. It was a case where the car of Ioni's just didn't move at all, completely undaunted with the collision. Thankfully, it was okay. It's really disappointing here for Gabor, down to 4th position, and it gives Rick the leadership responsibilities for his team, and Rick 98 is also closing in.
Yeah, indeed. When it's a single file through here, you don't want to be side by side with anyone as we file through the bus stop chicane. Some cars choosing to go side by side. That was magic for Race Green, deciding to try and fight with someone.
In fact, at the back, Elias has caused a bit of a stir here. He's been sent sideways.
Oh my goodness.
Other cars on the roof. Wants McElroy out of the race. He'll have to decide whether or not he wants to rejoin. But several cars involved in a real fracas there. A lag spike, unfortunately.
A fracker is one way of putting it. That was brutal. As we have Ioni Katilla steaming away. He's got over a second gap now, thanks to that kerfuffle. And we've got Luke side by side with Pablo coming through the final corner up the hill. And he's just about got it ahead. Pablo's in the lead, sorry. Who's side by side with Gustin W, who's now pushing Pablo around the lap.
It was well played by Gustin. Very much bumping and drafting off Pablo. Luke will be feeling a bit sorry for himself there. If he can recover, it should be all right. But Arska is going to apply the pressure to him as well. This is a great run up the intersection onto the motorway, and then the most dangerous corner of all on this configuration coming up, downhill braking and a double right apex, looking from Ricardo's point of view behind. And it's solid enough in the XFG. It shouldn't be a big problem when you're in single file. Now braking for the left hairpin, and it seems like Unite is willing to hold station until he sees the right opening.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point supporting Unite here because we all know he's not running the Sidus livery, so he won't finish on the podium. This is just for show. No, seriously, he is having a good race at the moment, and he too likes the XFG. He's a good dab hand in the GTIs actually, but he's currently got his teammate as a roadblock here. And Ioni Katilla has opened up another 10th of a gap on this lap. And honestly, unless he makes a mistake or trips over a back marker eventually, don't think he's going to have any problems with this one. Gustin and Pablo side by side. Gustin through. He's having a great...
he's overshot it, though.
Yeah, I spoke too soon there, for sure.
He lunges into Arska, trying to hang on to the sort of appropriate racing line. Arska was having none of that. But the XFG is hanging on in there. It's taking several blows from several drivers, and Much McCarry, having been sent onto his roof, is the only real absentee we saw as a result of an accident. The other drivers and their cars are okay.
We lose T-Bug from the race, and side by side across the line, Arska trying to get past Gustin. He's not happy here with the motion of Gustin's car, for sure. And now that puts him under pressure from Tino. Tino up the inside of Arska there. And that looks like more contact going the way of Arska. He's into the wall hard.
Yeah. Texas affected as well.
Yeah, Falcon now side by side with Arska in a typically green, race green machine. And Yarrick Tiller managing to get past Texas, I think, there. And Michael Malik also trying to get through. And he does so. But as we are on lap number 3, just approaching the end, it is Yoni Gatilla who leads from the Sidus trio. Rick Cardle, Unite, still pushing Rick around by the looks of it. Gabor there in P4. And then it's Rick 98 who's hustling in behind. Rick 98 also pretty quick in the GTIs. And I'd be amazed if he gives Gabor any trouble. But it's not unheard of. Rick 98 has shown us before in this series and others that he is capable of pulling a result. And meanwhile, Pablo for Furtive Racing splitting the Road Appraiser cars in this little fight. This is a good fight. Gustin has hooked up onto the back of Luke again and will be wanting to find a way through.
Yeah, it's a handy look here for Pablo. He can basically choose his line. Luke has to adapt to that situation, and then Gustin in the third element of the sandwich can also turn up the heat on Luke. So we'll keep an eye out for this one, absolutely.
At what point does a burger become a sandwich? Here we are as Yoni Gatilla comes on to lap number 4. The start-finish line is here. We use alternate start-finish lines for the reverse combos on South City. It's just where the grid is. And Rick Cardle has pulled away slightly from Unite there, so that's a gap that he'll be pleased that exists. Meanwhile, Gustin is being racy again. Goodness me, the car was up on 2 wheels over the bumps there. I know it's bumpy there, but you don't tend to see the car jumping around that much. I think he must have hit the wall. And then there's a train up the back straight. And movement behind, we've got Falcon side by side with Gojki for Conquest Racing. Gojki pretty much single-handedly keeping the Conquest Racing name alive in Live for Speed these days. One of the older teams. And bad news for your fellow countryman, Owen. Seems as though Twin Cam's picked up some engine damage somewhere.
You don't want that in this layout. Like, I know the streets will require acceleration more than top speed, but when it matters on that start-finish straight, Twin Cam's going to feel it.
It is indeed, and here we go. Here's a fight between Wildcross Lions at Race Green and Conquest. We've got Falcon on the outside now, trying to make that move on Gojki. Gojki on the brakes there? Really? That was very early. But anyway, still leading this pack, but this is going to become a train now. Gojki is the stopper in the bottle. Oh, car's getting uncomfortable behind. That's Arska and Yari Katilla as well, being pushed by Texas there. With Twin Cam at the back.
Yeah,
this is another very nostalgic combo for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love the GTIs at South City.
Yeah, I think they're a good pairing. Yeah, the fact that these cars, as I've seen, they take a lot of door-to-door blows and they carry on. This is another case where 3 cars are looking for the space. Three jump, the Hifmuli, and that's magic. Yeah, magic. Excuse me. Now that's 3 wide, so 3 jump has to decide which side he wants to throw a bit of an anchor out. Oh, now, oh, that's inevitable, unfortunately. Yeah, that was really hard to call with the left hand kink, and Master goes in between. Oh, I just spotted that. That was extremely wonderful to see there. Well done from Master. Again, thankfully, the XFG took another hefty strike and carries on.
Yeah, 3-way contact going into the first kink. It's not even registered as a corner on our track map, that. In fact, I think it might be, actually. But anyway, that was unfortunate. Definitely a corner. And getting out of control a little bit there, up the hill. Falcon, who has a sandwich around Asker with Michael. Michael Malik there himself in a world-class line sandwich. Or a burger. As we head up the hill once more. Michael's doing a bit of sponsorship for his country there, isn't he?
Yeah, Chechnya pride with the Skodas. Yeah, nicely put livery.
Indeed.
Yeah, just everyone is continuing to follow. It's the case where the bus stopped and beyond, it's really hard to get alongside until the braking zone here, the 90-degree left. Again, with the modest horsepower, it is a case where dive bombing won't pay off. Twin cam at the rear of the queue just has to follow along, and they'll be beginning their 6th lap as they head past the train tracks.
Indeed. And Rick 98 still hustling the back of Gabor. The gap is a bit bigger than it was now, but well, looking further back, we have Thamuli and Master side by side now. Thamuli not leaving too much room, but luckily there was overlap. Master getting a little bit out of control again.
Yeah, the front was out of shape there for Master. He caught it just fine. 3 jump though, would love to get another attempt to re-overtake him. Now we're on board here with Tino, isn't it?
Luke.
Oh, sorry, that's Luke, excuse me. Yeah, Tino's behind them in 8th, so yeah, this is Luke. Putting Pablo under a bit of pressure. But, yeah, Pablo hits the wall, but it does help him. It's a downhill gradient before the braking zone, so it does help him out. Yeah, we look at Tino now with Gustin.
Yeah, they had it coming together actually at the chicane. I saw Gustin going very wide out of there, unusually so. So these two coming to blows again. Yeah, the rear of Tino's car is a little bit deformed, and the front of Gustin's is. So you can do the math. Yeah.
The undercut here. Tino was sliding out of the left-hander and then into the right, but again it was handily blocked by Tino. Yeah, it seems like he doesn't want any more of Gustin, so he's just allowed him through as the cameras panned away to the leading Sidus queue there. But they're all in Yanni's shadow, unfortunately. The gap is roughly 2 seconds. Could we see an increase or decrease as they cross the line? Let's find out.
Yeah, the shadow is getting longer, I fear.
Well, another very fast lap there for Yanni, and it is 2.19, so just a tiny gain.
Unite will have the benefit of the slipstream again here up the back straight. He's slightly nicer entry than Rick there. Master versus 3 jump coming across the line here. In fact, that is Master versus Jamin, my mistake. Oh, no, it is Master and 3 jump. Sorry. This is slightly confusing.
Yeah, so 3 jump gets a better run in to the entry of the corner. Master more comfortable on the exit. The side by side will have to be definitively concluded before the braking zone. You won't want to be entering turn 3 side by side. Like we saw in lap 1, it was a case Gabor lost out. And here's Jamin. Oh, he got a nose in. Oh, that was a car in the wall. That's the back marker's just gone AFK. Unfortunately, Elias is stuck. Yeah, he's getting out of the way. That's a very, very precarious spot to be in. I didn't notice that. Hopefully the drivers were on their toes. It is advantage 3 jump here, though.
Advantage 3 jump with Jamin now, trying to get past Master, and does so on the inside. For now, that's a clean overtake. Nice pass. No real route back through for Master. Jamin still defending, though, so putting his car offline, going into the bus stop. Can often lose more time doing that. Bit of a fight here between 3 teams. Born to Race, World Class Lines, and Race Green. Pablo and Luke close again as they're heading up to start finish. I don't know if Luke is going to be close enough to affect a pass here in the slipstream, but it might be worth a go. Well, he's certainly close enough if he wants to send a lunge. He's going for it. Oh, no, he's not. I thought he was going to go for it. Would have been a risk for sure.
And Lurcy decides to drop out. He was involved in a collision, I believe, with the driver known as Weed. So it's a case where one driver just felt it wasn't worth continuing. The other is satisfied to press on. But that is for the minor points as things stand. We now can concentrate on Luke versus Pablo. Another attempt here by Luke. He's really thrown what he can at Pablo. He even needs to use the curbing and the wall combined to have a look, but Pablo remains firm. And this is a very impressive performance from Pablo.
Yeah, this is a South American battle, isn't it? This is Road Appraiser versus Furtive Racing, both of them South American teams. And we've seen good things from both these teams this year in LFS. I guess we can say that now. We're in December. Can't believe it. There we go. Both these teams have put on stellar performances in various championships and seasons. Furtive Racing, of course, doing a fabulous job at the 6 Hours of Kyoto earlier in the year. And Road Appraiser making names for themselves in some of the sprint series. As Luke is trying to unsettle Pablo, but he's hit the wall, he's hit the apex quite hard, and that's going to give Pablo the breathing room he needs for a lap or two. Certainly, so I'm a bit unfortunate there. So easy to do as well. The apexes are quite easy to smash accidentally. Getting close, isn't it, between the Sidus team? Gabor has found a bit of pace and currently stuck behind his teammate. And I say stuck because I don't think Gabor will try to get past necessarily. They won't want to hold each other up, and they'll just be deciding between them who's currently faster. But this is really showing you how closely matched these guys are on pace and GTIs. Each of them quick in their own right, but Unite definitely the stranger this series. He's not been as close to his teammates this year, has he, Eoin?
No, unfortunately not. He has the results within him, but for various reasons it just has fallen away for him this season. Sometimes it's qualifying, he might be in the middle of the pack and it's too much to overcome. Other times he's near the front and he is capable of turning those top 5 results into a race win. It just hasn't happened at the pace where his teammates have set it. So that's what needs to change in the new year for Unite. But look at Rick 98, there he is, well within shout.
Absolutely.
So if Gabor is still stuck in this little queue, I suppose, it will offer Rick lots of encouragement until the end of the race.
Yeah, I think the only thing that needs to happen in the Sidus camp for 2023 really to bring Nico up to the same pace is for someone to teach him how to choose his skin correctly in the pit menu. Anyway, Enough jokes. Yeah, you're right. Rick 98 is closing up. He was quite close to Gabor before, but if he can hook up to the back of this trio, then who knows what could happen. We've still got time. We're just over halfway through this race. Meanwhile, in the background, it's still Pablo versus Luke, and this time Luke has a run. Pablo's gone super wide out of the final corner, and Luke is alongside. Well, this is going to be side by side up the straight, I don't think. Oh, mind you, Pablo goes quite wide and is going to be able to use the slipstream. Is he?
Yeah, bump draft. Bump draft is definitely going to be used once. Maybe he'll back off now. It's too dangerous into the left-hand kink. The track really starts to get bumpy before this braking zone. So Luke just needs to get back on side with the apex, but he seems to have held it well, drifting outwards to the opening in the barrier. So yeah, position gain for Luke.
Yeah, good stuff, and that's the gap has been closed, and then the position taken in just over a lap. So good effort. He's safe. They're both safe from behind from Gustin just now, but they won't want to be. Well, they want to keep that gap slightly big, because we've seen what Gustin's been doing this race. As we see Michael and Asker going for it. Michael bouncing off the barriers. Asker trying to find a way through.
Yeah, just outside this camera shot, Magic and Yari Katila very close to one another, side by side. There we go. Who's got the better run? Magic has track position, as it will be turning right and right and right again for the next 3 corners before the bus stop chicane breaks it up a little bit. Magic has definitely made the gain, just has to be mindful of the second barrier and a small kink before the bus stop. Yeah, that's I think Yari got a bit wrong with the outside wall, getting perilously close, but he will not give up this position, but advantage to Magic.
Yeah, good little battle. It looks like a lot of the drivers are paired up. The only person who's really not in any sort of battle is Eoin Katila. He's not been in a fight since the first lap, and 2.9 seconds now the gap. And even though that seems small, that is a big advantage at South City. I mean, the margins are so small here. Of course, there's no runoff, and these top guys are on a pace that you don't realise until you're in a race with them. Like, honestly, the pace across the top 4 or 5 here in this case is insane. And you know, to have a margin of 3 seconds in this fight is even more impressive. But here we go. Unite now a little bit adrift of Rick, but importantly, Gabor also adrift. And it's not over. It's definitely not over. Rick 98 has got the pace today.
Yeah, he's been really, really formidable today. Hasn't put a foot wrong. Indeed, the fact that he lost a position in qualifying after the race start, you'd be feeling hard done by with that. Yeah, he still put everything into this race to put Sidus perhaps under a little bit of pressure, looking behind them. They know that any mistake will be punished. So we'll see how that progresses into the final quarter of the race. Rony has Jamin for company. I hope you like Jamin too. Had to get that one in.
It's rude not to.
Yeah. Oh, Rony, a bit high and wide out of the left-hander. It opens it for Jamin. We'll see if this sequence is in Rony's favor. Doesn't have the nose in front, but he will have the turn-in advantage. Yeah, that's the case. Masters here as well, so we'll see if anything happens there. But position change, it's possible.
Not quite.
It's possible. Yeah, nearly. It's the leaderboard getting frisky, but yeah, it is very close now for Unite and Gabor.
Yeah, the timing tower does. It's a bit eager, isn't it, sometimes? But I think Unite's made a mistake on this lap somewhere, because he's come really close to the front of Gabor now. And he's trying to break the slipstream even slightly there. He's going quite wide of the apex. And Gabor might think he's in with a shout. He won't want to be held up anymore, because Rick 98 is right there.
Yeah, something has to give. You don't want a solid third and fourth to be squandered when you've got a very impressive competitor just on the periphery. So it's just a case of the minds have to be made up as well as just keeping the pace up. This is Yanni SVK in 25th, second last there with Team Eoin, keeping him honest. Just trying to see if there are any obvious side-by-side contests. It doesn't appear to be, but Gustin here is gaining on Pablo. Pablo just had another tap of the wall. It doesn't seem to have affected him. His car is fine. Tire temperatures are fine. So Luke just seems to have the better of the momentum at the moment. Oh, he does have to put on the brakes there momentarily. He may have been going angular where he didn't want to go, but he held it.
Yeah, they're really chucking this car around today, and that happens, of course, when the tires get a little bit hot. The rear tires of the XFG do like to overheat when you're flinging it around a lot, but no such problems for the guys today. The front tires actually are more often the problem, but yeah, it's still close at the front between Gabor and Unite. I reckon Gabor might fancy a shout here if he wants to get a podium. He can't really afford to have any more points taken away from him in the championship by his own teammates, so you'd think that there's going to be a move on, and side by side they go across start finish. Unite with a slight advantage, and yeah, he's going to let his teammate through here, I think, because ultimately, or is he? I don't think so. Oh, I think he has. Yeah, he's lifted. He's let Gabor through. Ultimately, he knows what's going on. He kept him honest though for a bit. If he decides, so Gabor goes defensive. So there is no love lost here. They're going to race to the end, but they can't race too hard, can they, Owen?
Oh, absolutely not, Pete. They've got to be firm but fair and ensure that the championship will be decided at the very end of the season in 2 weeks' time. But Rick 98 could be very encouraged now. This is his moment. He's got to believe in himself, and Unite probably has to decide. I'd rather clinch this fourth place for myself. I don't want to be battling with Gabor and costing myself a bit more time than necessary.
Yeah, I think even if Unite gets past Gabor, then he is in more of a shout in the championship. But Gusto and Pablo side by side contact again. Gustin I'm not sure he knows how wide his car is today, but there we go. Pablo is having a good old tussle with him.
Yeah, it's another solid job at the last opportunity there to get a nose in before more tight left-handers are coming. It was a little bit too late there for Pablo. This is where he needs to build his move. He's been used to the bump drafting on the start-finish, and he's just got to keep it on the racing line. Now he's missed the apex there. Gustin has a chance to pull away. It could be a case where he's not far away enough. Yeah, and here is Unite. He's still in the middle of the pack. Rick 98 definitely in contendership for Driver of the Day award. Definitely the best of the rest. We'll see if he has dropped away a little bit. Unite has had a pretty good exit out of 2.
Yeah, importantly, these two haven't really held each other up for half a lap, and that's why maybe Luke has dropped back slightly. As soon as they bunch up, that's when Luke can affect a pass, because Gabor's looking in his mirrors trying to defend, and Unite's busy hustling, and Luke can Rick 98 can close up. They're just not allowing that to happen at the moment. Rick Cardle is in no man's land now. He's got 3 seconds ahead and 3 seconds behind almost. So a bit of a lonely one. He'll be a bit gutted that he couldn't stay on the tailcoats of Yoni Katilla. And if it finishes as it finishes at the moment, it looks like we're going to have a very, very close finale between Rick Cardle and Gabor, as the gap between the two will reduce slightly by 1 or 2 points. So we will have our grandstand finish. And importantly, Owen, if someone like Yoni Katilla turns up and dominates the final round, unless these two are in wildly different places, there are very, very few points between different positions in RTFR. There's only 1 or 2 points between the lower positions. So it's very hard to gain or lose places if you're in a tight battle at the top.
Yeah, that's a handy thing to keep in mind for obviously the finale in a fortnight, and of course right now it's a case where it's a classic enough sequence where if the top winner gets 100% of the points, then it goes down, down, and down rather than a staggered system. Here is Falcon and Goshki side by side. Falcon has the edge, but he's got to watch out for the wall, and indeed his opponent. He's done that so far. Breaking now with Michael on site in case he can see an opportunity, but yeah, Falcon is clear, and Goshki is now taken out of the top 10.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but he could have it back. There's a lap and a half to go, and there's enough slipstream opportunities for him to utilise. He's going to have to go round the long way. Falcon is defending this. It's really difficult, really, really, really difficult to get round. He's not even going to try it. This track is so complicated. I mean, normally it's black and white where you brake, but as you can tell, the driver's wildly different braking zones because of how unsettled the car gets when you take a slightly different line into the corners. This track is a real challenge. The GTIs have always posed an immense challenge and immensely close racing as well, as you've seen. So this combo still delivering classic races all this time later. I love it.
Yeah, this will go down very well. A lot of drivers have stood up to the challenge. Good finishing rate. About 6 or 7 drivers out of the race. 25 remain. And we've seen good side-by-side battles and the cases where people, they've been pushing hard, getting into the trains. It is the final lap coming up now. The race lead has been firmly in the property of Yanni Katilla, aka Sidus Monkey. So he just needs to get this last one done. And Goshki is now taking a side-by-side approach with Michael. So Michael is looking to gain on him as well. Down the right-hander and then uphill they go again. So yeah, there we go. So far so good. But Goshki...
a bit of contact between these two at the previous corner, and so I wonder. I think Michael feels like he's made some fair moves. He's been defending very, very hard from Goshki. Goshki having none of it, so a little bit of elbows out here. Michael generally a fair driver, but it was definitely him doing the pushing on the exit of the corner. But it's possible that he had a nose in and feels like he was turned in on, as these two really are going for it on the final lap. This is now for P11, sorry, this fight, as Falcon is checked out. And they can't fight too hard, or else they're going to lose out to Oscar, Texas, and Twin Cam. Well, look at this. They really are going for it on this final lap.
Oh, take an inhale of breath. Something's going to happen. Yes, there's the contact. The decision to back out, it was not an option. So, as a matter of fact, Goshki has gotten the rub of the green there. The Master Race car sent into 12th where it was previously.
Yeah, this is where the action's at. This is elbows out stuff. There's been a bit of beef since the final corner of the lap on the previous time around, and Michael Malek, feeling as though he's been hard done by here, will want to get that place back. He's worked quite hard for this, so let's see what happens. Only a few corners to go in the race, of course, but anything can happen here. As Michael goes for a big send, trying to get as close as possible. He needs to make sure he's all over the rear bumper. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pull away from this to watch our race leader, who has dominated this afternoon, come across the line to win the 9th round of the season. There he is. Rick Cardle will be number 3. And then we'll have to wait and see what happens with Michael Malik. There comes Gabor following Rick Cardle through. Unite very, very close in P4. Rick 98 coming across the line in P5. Best of the rest. P6 is Luke, Rick 98's teammate. Gustin with a bit of gusto in his drive tonight, coming across in P7. Oh my goodness me. That was close, wasn't it?
Gets a 200th over Twin Cam. That was extraordinary. It was a good showcase from Texas there, who got his pace on and finished 13th. Lonely enough finish there for Rony in P20.
Yeah, pretty lonely. A few more cars to come across the line, and then we can do our full rundown. 2 to go. 1, and Team Eoin rounds out our 25 finishers. All right then. Your winner this evening, in a dominance fashion, 4 seconds ahead of Rick Cardle, was Yoni Katilla for World Class Lines in 33 minutes and 43 seconds, doing a fastest lap of a 2:05.58, which is mighty impressive. It's that would have been good enough for a very, very high qualifying position. Followed by Rick Cardle and Gabor, whose championship lead now shrinks thanks to Rick's second place. So that's going to make for a very, very interesting finale. Unite, unfortunately, will drop further back from his teammates, pretty much putting him out of contention for this year's championship, unless something horrible happens to Rick Cardle and Gabor in the next fortnight or during the race. Rick 98 and Luke for Road Appraiser finished P5 and 6. Rick 98 doing a great job keeping up and keeping Gabor for most of the race honest. In the end, finishing only just over a second behind the Sidus trio. Then we've got Augustin in 7th there. We've been calling him Gustin all afternoon, but it looks like he goes by Augustin there. Pablo for Furtive Racing in P8, Tino in P9, and Race Green Falcon in P10. Here's where it gets interesting, Owen. Goshki and Michael Malik had a bit of beef in the final 2 laps, and it finishes with Goshki in P11 and Michael in P12. Texas in P13, Asker for World Class Lines in 14th, then Twin Cam, Magic, Yari Katilla, Thamuli, 3 Jump, and Rony, your top 20.
Yeah, that's a good point. With Augustin, we missed the A letter that's in black on the in-game graphics, but carrying on. Jamin, P21. He had a decent battle with Rony, but he'd be satisfied with that, I suppose. Then we've got Lorenzo, Master, Yanni SVK, and Team Eoin rounding out the finishers. Weed had a timing out, so did not get to see the finish. Hero, Dior, 472, also a DNF. Also missing is Lurcy, Elias, Justin, T-Bug, and Martin McCarry.
Thanks for that, Owen. All right, that wraps up the 9th round of the season as we head into what will be the final round, I can't believe it, of RTFR for 2022. Well, it's been quite a year, and it's going to be finished with the Lilia X GTR at Aston National. This is a race that is inspired by the old AMG GTR server that used to feature the 3 GTR cars in Need for Speed at Aston National pretty much consistently. And it's going to be a good race. That track is very, very well suited to this car. It's a great mod, and it's going to be an excellent afternoon. On December 20th, we hope you can join us for it for the final time this year. It's been a pleasure covering RTFR, and we have 1 round to go, and it will see a title decider between the Sidus teammates Rick Cardle and Gabor. Gabor will be leading by only a handful of points over his teammate, and Rick Cardle will be desperate to win this season. Of course, he won last year's driver and teams championship, but this year he was unsuccessful at securing the first season championship, so he'll really, really want it this time, I think, Owen.
Yeah, the 2 drivers will make a case as to why they should be champion, and they'll have to put it into the formal proceedings in the finale. They'll both believe in themselves, and it'd be a great honor to come out on top in this season 2 portion of RTFR. It's just we'll see what fate has in store for them, and it should be really, really exciting.
It should indeed. We hope you can join us for it. Tonight we have been watching Rony's Tuesday fun race at South City Long Reversed with the GTIs. It's been a blast. We've been Sim Broadcasts. This has been Rony's Tuesday fun race, sponsored by World-Class Lions. Pete, Owen and Chris in the commentary box signing out. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.